Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 135 of CoCreative NoCode's Office Hours. I'm your host, Tonya. We're here with members Ben and Thomas and Mike Kemp and our guest Adam this evening. We're going to get started in just a moment. But if this is your first time tuning into Office Hours, perhaps live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, here's what we do. We invite our members onto the Zoom, we broadcast it live, and then we answer as many bubble questions as our members can throw at us that we can. We can't promise answers because we don't have them all, but we promise you won't suffer alone. And we do get it right most of the time. And then, if you would like to become a member of CoCreative NoCode, now is a great time to sign up. We're going to be grandfathering all of our original members into their old rate when we double the rate in the near future, because we're rebranding to Pro No Coders very soon. So you could go to CoCreativeNoCode.com, go ahead and sign up. It's free to sign up and see what's there, and then head on over to the subscriptions, check them out, see what works for you, and sign up before the price goes up. So Ben, do you have something for me this evening?
Always.
Always. Okay. Should I stop sharing, or is it a not sharing situation?
Well, first question is, have you done much between Zapier and Bubble?
Yeah, I have actually.
Then I have a question for you.
Okay.
I'll share my screen. I can't share while you're sharing.
Oh, sorry. There you go.
Okay. Can you see that?
I can.
Okay, cool. So I have you used Feedly before?
Feedly. Yeah, I think I have actually.
It's basically just an RSS feed, brings in all the information, and then I've got a Zap that takes articles that I want to put on the website to Airtable for me to kind of check before they go live, if that makes sense, so that I know that the content is right. And then once I put them in a view, I want them to automatically create a database entry in Bubble. Okay. But the issue that I'm having is
you're trying to use Zapier to connect Airtable to Bubble?
No, I don't want to connect Airtable to Bubble because I don't want to use Airtable as a database. I want to continue to use Bubble's database.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
So I'm trying to push a record. Yeah, push a record instead of connect them, I guess, is the best way to do it.
Okay.
But I just keep coming up as soon as this loads. There's no, I can't find a database connect, even if I'm in development or live mode. It doesn't give me an option to connect them, if that makes any sense.
Got it. How fast do you want the transition to happen? Okay, so you are using Zapier to connect into Bubble, and it's coming in from Airtable.
Correct.
Okay. All right, got it.
But yeah, whenever I do this data type, it just keeps saying no options available.
Okay, so would you like a less expensive way to do it?
Always.
Okay, cool. You want me to share my screen?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's see here. I don't know if I've ever tried pulling something back in from Airtable, but we can try it. There is an excellent plugin for Airtable.
I have done that. Is there a way though to create a record within inside Bubble from an Airtable record?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
I think so. That's what we're going to explore. I could be wrong, but let's figure it out.
Cool.
But I've done a lot with this. I've done a lot with Airtable before. So let me make an Airtable table.
Isn't Airtable just beautiful?
I love it. I was using it earlier today. hours. Okay. So let's see. Let's have a record with name. Let's just make it really easy. I know it was just here. I'm recreating it. I always delete all of them and start from scratch. I don't know why. Okay. Okay, now we're going to create in our database a and let me see if I can do this here without. All right, so I'm gonna have to connect with my API key, but I use my API key in other places. So I want to show you, I'll show you what we're doing here. It'll be tricky to show because I think the API key is for your whole account. I don't think they do it per table.
That's
Like
correct.
per base. So I know what I'll do. There we go. I should be on the pro for a trial, right?
Yeah.
That's what I assume. Okay, so then if I go to here, account, I should be able to find generate API key. Okay, and then come here. And base office hours, table office hours, uses data, create, modify. And do you need it to delete as well or no?
I think once the record is put into Bubble, I'll probably delete it. Yeah.
You would delete it from there and not from Airtable. Oh, okay.
Just
delete it from
as a,
Airtable. Okay, got it. Okay, so, all right. So now we know they're connected because name and notes are both text. So that works. Cool. So now how do I get this to work? So I definitely know how to create. I know how to create like records in Airtable. I've never really played around with creating records in Bubble, but let's just try it out. Let's go here and let's create a new page. And then let's just make a button. I don't, you bring up a good point because probably what you were trying to do was send it in through like a webhook to actually like push the information. This button would be looking for information. How attached are you to the pushing from Airtable into Bubble?
Well, I really need it to transfer the Airtable record into the Bubble database, so it's part of the Bubble database.
Yeah, no, that I think can definitely be done with this plugin, but I'm asking if it has to be automated so that as soon as you add a record in Airtable, it shows up in the Bubble database.
Oh no, not automatically, not straight away. It doesn't have to.
So like a button would be work. So get Airtable would work. Okay, so here. And then probably what we want to do is add one more table or like one more field here, like the auto number. Okay. So let's try this one. This is a test. Just testing. Second test. Third test. Okay. So now we have some sample data to get, and when we push that button, we're going to create a new thing. Actually, we'll probably have to kick this off to backend workflows to create a new thing. From the Airtable. And here. New thing. So it's going to be an office hour. Name. Office hours. First items. Notes. Would be Airtables, would be the same thing. And then if you're going to be deleting it, then you don't need to cross-reference. So that would be fine. And then how do I get the list here? I was thinking, because right now this will just create the first one. So let's just test that. Where is it? Somebody who calls me like in the middle of, no, wrong one. In the middle of office hours, every office hours. What do we call the page?
I can't remember.
I can't either. Verify. Kim, were you paying attention?
Yep, I'm here. What's up?
Yeah, do you remember what I called the page? That I just
Can't remember
did?
either.
What?
I'm so
It's
sorry.
not Ben's portal. That was
Was
one
it
of
that
the-
portal?
Was it the, no, it wasn't the portal. It was doing overlapping groups, something. I thought I said from Airtable. Okay, we'll make another one from Airtable. It's just a button. Okay, so here we're gonna schedule the API workflow from Airtable, current date and time. I guess we could ignore that. There's no parameters to send in there, so it should just grab that first one. So if I preview here, yep, it got the second one. It didn't get the first one, but it got
Weird.
one. So we can definitely see that we can grab the information from Airtable and pull it in. We just have to get the We just have to figure out how to get the list to pass in the list via parameter into the backend workflow.
Yeah. Instead of first item, you mean?
Yeah, so let's see here. So the key would be error table list. And then this would be if I can pull it in. Nope, it's not letting me do it as a thing. Maybe we just need a number. Go here. I think I could do it in a group. Oh, I should make it a repeating group. How do you set the content type? Not sure. I know there's a way to do it though. We just have to reconcile the type of content with the data source
Yeah.
if we can. And I think it's here. Yeah, there we go. So now we're getting all of those things in this repeating group. And so we should be able to send this as a parameter into the backend. Here. This is in my database. I want not sure how to do it. Hitting a roadblock at the moment, but I'm sure that we can figure it out tomorrow, or maybe Pablo can help finish this the next office hours. I know there's a way to do it, but yeah,
Cool.
But this way you don't have to pay Zapier at all. Like, yeah.
I mean, the more costs I can keep down, the better. So that would be ideal, especially with launch.
Yeah, and then you could do, I don't know, I haven't looked, but there's probably a way to send things via like webhook from Airtable to something else using their scripts. So you could probably like push it so you don't have to actually come in and push the button in Bubble as well. You could set up the webhook endpoint. I could show you that as well, how to do that in Bubble, and then use Zapier to take it to be listening to what's happening in Airtable, grab the new record and send it into Bubble. So those are things you can do. But if you don't mind pushing the button in Bubble to go and retrieve the info that you want, then I don't see a reason to pay Zapier for it. So cool. I'll write this up for Pablo so he knows where we got stuck. I'll also make sure he has access to it. But
I did do a link video and put it in the office hours on the CoCreative website.
oh, awesome. Very cool. He will appreciate that greatly. He was like, I do better when I know ahead of time what the questions are going to be.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
He Facebook messaged me a couple of hours ago, so I just wrote up a bunch of stuff and put it in there for him.
Cool. Awesome. I might poke around at this a little bit after office hours too. And if I get anywhere, I'll let you know. So,
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Adam, did you have something for this evening?
Hi, I did. So the thing that I'm working on right now is trying to let users authenticate their Instagram account and essentially like verify that they're the person who they're linking their social media to. But what I also need from that is I need their first and last name and their username stored in my database once they authenticate. So it's not necessarily like a have users log in with Instagram, like that's nice to have, but what I need is when people say that something is their Instagram, they need to sign in to prove that it is.
Okay, so I know that there's an Instagram plugin that I came across.
The Pathfix one is awesome, by the way.
Pathfix with Instagram is awesome. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Should I search for Pathfix or something else here?
So Bubble has one, and essentially Bubble says, let users log in with their Instagram accounts and fetch their user profile. However, it doesn't say like what you get when you fetch that data. But if you're saying Pathfix is great, what's your experience with it?
I have done that, what you're saying. So I let users log in with Instagram and then it creates a record under the users and holds their information. But essentially, you're just going to have an input that has what's your Instagram handle, I guess.
Yeah, totally easy. All right.
But yeah, Pathfix will do that with, Tonya, what's it called when they change keys all the time? Like Facebook does it and they just
refresh token.
Yeah, exactly. They do that really, really well.
Yeah, so that can be tricky when you're OAuth because a lot of OAuth requires, maybe that's basic to OAuth, requires refresh tokens. And so like almost as soon as you use it, they require a refresh. And so you can end up, it can be tricky to work around that. We actually had an excellent office hours session with Cameron Wilder Booth, who kind of went through all of that and how to set it up and do your own refreshing of tokens but his example was using Google's APIs instead. But it's probably very applicable to every OAuth that you encounter like that. So, but I have heard wonderful things from Pathfix, even from like Pablo was like raving about Pathfix, especially their customer service. And I've heard the same from Jay and a few other people. So I definitely think Pathfix is probably your shortest path to success.
Okay, that's great. How do I do it?
So I don't know. Let me try. Let's install this first.
And really quickly, Ben. So I know that there's an overall Pathfix plugin, and here's the reason I ask, because I've tried Pathfix and it is its own language to me. It's kind of complicated in my book, but once you learn it, it's great. But Ben, is this the one that you use, the Instagram graph, or did you use the overall Pathfix one?
I use both. I use the overall one mainly because I want to let users log in and hold data within Facebook, Google, Instagram, Spotify, all of them at once. Mm-hmm. If you just want Instagram, then probably just go with the Instagram one. But I'll DM you now, the head of customer service there. I have weekly meetings with him about how you use Pathfix, and he's awesome.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I don't know how to use it. I've never used it before, so I don't know how much help I could be with this, but essentially they'll have to grab this information, whatever this is. Do you know what that is, Ben?
Yeah, so Pathfix has almost like its own app, and they have their parameters and their things in there. You only have to do it once, and then you can use any of their apps, but they have it set up that way. But I just chucked his email address in the chat for you, Adam, as well. But he will essentially get on a Zoom call with you and not leave until it's set up properly for you.
That's incredible. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Did you have anything else for us this evening?
At the moment, no. I mean, like the other thing that I had is there's this one zero code API for Google, or not API, I mean plugin, but it's a zero code plugin for Google Contacts, and I think they changed it to Google People, but I do know that Pathfix also is Google People. Essentially what I'm trying to do is like show people like, log in with your Google and see if any of your friends are online, that kind of thing.
Got it.
Yeah, so I don't know if you have experience with that.
No, I don't have any experience with that either. You said zero code, or
it was zero
had one?
Okay.
So no.
And they have so many, but it's Google Contacts or Google People.
Pathfix would do that as well. I just checked, Adam.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yep. Awesome. I see Jordan joined us. Jordan, do you have anything for us today?
Hey, Tonya, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I did probably just one thing, but
Do you want me to stop
I
sharing?
haven't really tried to figure it out, but I was just spending about 5 minutes on it this morning, but I'll just share my screen. Oh, I can't. Someone's still sharing it there. Are you familiar with like Active Campaign, Tonya? Hello?
Oh, yes, I said I am. I love Active Campaign, actually. I was on mute. I'm sorry.
Ah, sweet. So what I'm trying to do is kind of build like a workflow process, kind of like Active Campaign.
Like a campaign for emails?
Yeah, but it's not for emails. It kind of is for emails, but basically I've got some actions, and then I want when a application gets put into a certain stage in the pipeline, that it creates draft actions, and some of them are SMSs, some of them are emails, some of them are tasks. So I've made these pipeline stages here, and I've got like I can rearrange them and save them and order them how I want, and I can add new ones, and then I can click into them, and then I've got the sub stages. Okay, so these are like sub stages of the main stage, and same thing, I've got drag and drop, which is all set up. And then when I go into here, I want to be able to create a workflow. So I want to say, when this happened, well, when it hits this stage, run a scheduler API in the back end and create this task. So does that make sense?
You're trying to create the interface for doing that on the fly, or you're trying to just like create the workflow that's going to do what you want it to do?
Well, both. I'm trying to create the interface so that you can go into the settings and change it yourself.
Got it. Okay, so you have to just decide which variables you're going to access through the interface, and then make sure that those are created dynamically. And then you're going to have to decide where you're going to put the dynamic info to grab it in the workflows, right? So the first step would be just deciding like, okay, I want to like, if you want them to be able to determine how long it will be before an email is sent and by number of days, then the number of days would become a variable. And then you would give them some sort of input. Either they can type a number or they can, they can click a drop down to choose a number. You'll have to store that number in either a custom state or a hidden variable. And then you'll pass that in a parameter into a backend workflow to do what you want with it.
Yeah. So I've created this workflow, which is just going to be a list of repeating groups. I've got it set to this workflow, get workflow from page URL when it is not empty, it's visible. So that should be here because it's not empty. The workflow parameter is not empty, but for some reason it's not showing. So I was wondering what I've got wrong there. So if I go in here and make the element visible on page load and refresh it, it is there.
Okay. And we're sure that you're setting that unique ID.
Do you know what it will be? No.
Because if it doesn't find it in the database, then it, even though there's something
It'll.
there. It could also be privacy rules.
Yeah, I was just thinking that it could be privacy rules there. Sometimes it works if you can print the transaction instead of actually printing it. There's an option to change it. Yeah, so this here is not showing. So this should be showing, regardless of whether there's any. So if I go back to here, right, we go into the main stage, then we go into the sub stage, and then it should be boom, workflow. And that should be triggered when the workflow is not empty. Which is now.
So copy that number, the unique ID, and go into your database and go into that data type that it's supposed to be in app data.
Yeah, so we've got your financials for 2021.
All workflows, development, input. Okay, so.
Well, that's probably what I've done.
I think you're sending in a unique ID, but it's not for the right data type.
Yeah, so I'm sending in the sub stage. That's what the problem is. So when I click, how's the best way to do this, Tonya? Because so on this one here, I've got get stage from URL. When get stage from URL is not empty, so that's the stage. And then when get workflow from page URL is empty. That's probably not the right way to do it, eh? Because
that was a different that was a different one that was not showing.
So when I click into this sub stage, should it leave like this stage here, or should I be replacing it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm a little lost, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. I'm glad we're not alone. I did promise you wouldn't suffer alone. So
I think I know what the problem is.
Well, I mean go back to the one that's not showing that you said should be showing.
Hold on, I just checked the workflow on this one. So when you click on the main pipeline, How come it's going so slow?
I want to do the digging for like 5 minutes, see if I can find anything, then I'll give you a call back. Okay, sweet, yeah.
I think it's because of the screen share. I just stopped.
Yeah, it's some screen
Yeah,
sharing.
look, I
makes
just
everything
stopped it
slow.
and
And then it
just
loaded
stopped.
right away. And then
Yeah.
everybody I know is having problems with internet stability. Like, it's crazy.
Go to page. Send the stage. Pipeline stages, parent groups, pipeline stage. So that's got the, when I click on that one, it's sending the stage, parent groups, pipeline stage. Parent groups, pipeline stage.
So I want to go back to where like the original problem was, because I think I know what the original, like what the issue is. So you're sending in go to page, the workflow is being set to a pipeline substages unique ID, not
Yeah.
into an all workflows ID.
Yeah, so settings. Pipeline.
It's slow, huh?
Yeah, crazy. Here we go. So this needs to change, eh?
Yeah, so if you click that and then if it'll pull it up. So as long as you're selecting in the parameter part, the correct data type, then it'll recognize that it's there and then your group will show up.
Yeah. So yeah, that needs to be substage, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, that should work. To take off.
Is it loading? Yeah. If you want to stop sharing, it'll probably load faster.
Will it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it there?
yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, hang on, it's still on page load. I'll just turn it off.
We can't see your screen. Can you tell us what's happening?
Oh, sorry, it's loading.
Okay.
Yeah. As soon as it's
Still
loading,
loading?
I'll
Okay.
put it back on.
Thomas, I didn't check in with you at the beginning. Did you have anything for this evening?
Nope, just tuning in.
Just tuning in? All right.
Sweet. Yeah, that's working. Okay, so then my next thing would just be to make repeating groups in there and then link them up to templates. And
Yes.
then, yeah, and then once I've got that sorted out, we can run the schedule APIs. I think I kind of know what I'm doing, so I'll try and set up over the weekend and talk to you about it next week.
Yeah, definitely. Or I can give you like a brief outline of what I was thinking before if you want to see it.
Yeah,
Okay. I'll share my screen. So essentially in your backend workflows, you're familiar with setting up these parameters here. So whatever variables you want the user who's going to be kind of building their own
are you sharing?
workflow.
Hang on, I can't see your screen. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah.
Got it? Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, if you'll list out the variables that you want them to be able to determine, like
Yeah.
you set those out and each one becomes a key here.
Yeah.
And then the data type will be correlated to whatever the key is, of course.
Yeah.
If it's a list of things, then you can make it a list. So you just set out your variables here. Then you go back into the page itself, and you're going to create the inputs for those
Yeah.
variables.
Yeah.
And then you'll pass those through in the regular page. So like,
I was going to do it via data flow, a database trigger.
okay.
So I wanted to go like, boom, when a stage gets updated, it'll trigger a workflow.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So it'll be database trigger when this stage gets hit, trigger that workflow. And then I wanted to have like time delays on each of the repeating group workflows. So to go after 1 day, here's a task. And then,
So I'm confused. Are you trying to make it so that like when you're listing the workflows, are you just wanting to reflect what exists in terms of workflows, or are you trying to make it so the user can change what's in the workflows?
Yeah, so the user can change what's in the workflows. Yeah.
Okay, so like you want the user, like give me a use case, like who's the user and what are they making changes to?
So, I mean, at the moment, it's only going to be me that would make the changes, but
Okay.
so I don't really need it to be like that, but I figured I might as well build it like that because in like thinking long term,
Mhm.
if I have other organizations using the software, they're going to want to set up their own workflows.
Right. So
Yeah,
like,
so that-
what are some of the things that they would be changing?
So I've got like I've got a database already of templates.
Mhm.
So like one might be an email. So I've got 4 actions. So I've got an email, an SMS, a task, and a note. Okay.
Mhm.
So I've set up some templates already. So there might be half a dozen like emails on there. So then it might go like, Tonya's a new client and then she's entered the work and she's entered her application has gone into this stage.
Mhm.
And then I need to send Tonya like a welcome email.
Okay.
So as soon as your application hits that specific stage, it'll whatever the first thing is in the settings and the workflow, that would then be triggered, and then it would pop up and it would say, right, so it's copying what's in the settings page, and then, like, changing the names, and it's making an email there that I then go in and check. And then if I want to send it, I push send. So it'll make a draft email. And I'll just log in and I'll have a whole heap of things, maybe like, 20 or 30 different things that are sitting there all pre-populated for me. And then I just have to click send on each of them. And if I want to change anything, or if I want to delete it, or I don't want to send it, then I just
yeah, this is a pretty intense part of your app, to be honest.
Yeah.
This one's going to be a fun, like, puzzle to work through, because there's going to be a lot of moving parts, but you can do it. Like, it's just the trickiest part is setting up the formula in the first place that's going to be flexible enough for you to fit all of those different variables into it, and then to run. So, but it can be done. So, yeah. But the very first thing you have to determine is, like, what kind of variables are they going to be in charge of? And then I would reverse, like, I would go from there. So if when they hit a stage change, like, how is the app going to know which things to kick off per stage? Right. And how are you going to store in the database? How are you going to store the variables in the database in such a way that it will do the timing correctly and so forth?
Yeah. So what I figured is I'd have, like, just to start out, I'd have one workflow under each stage. So when it'll go right, when stage, I'll set up a database trigger when an application goes from stage A to stage B. Do a search in the settings for stage B's workflow's first item.
Okay.
And then copy that, and then update, find and replace or whatever, and create a draft, like a draft thing under a new, like, thing, I guess.
I'm excited to see this. I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with. So
yeah, I've kind of got it all mapped out in my head. So
that's good. That's great.
Yeah, give me the weekend and I'll show you next week.
Yeah, can't wait. Awesome. Yeah, this is like a huge part of your app. Like,
yeah, it's gonna just completely automate it, because once I've got it up and running, I'll be able to, like, got it all fine-tuned. I'll be able to skip the setting it up as a draft and just make it go out direct.
Yep.
Yeah. The other thing, if has anyone else got anything? I was just going to ask one other thing.
Let's check. Ben, do you have anything else?
Yeah, but I'm happy to wait. I'm all good.
Okay. Adam, how about you? Anything else?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, go for it, Jordan.
Cool. Just the other thing that I was just going to say, what's the best platform for, like, sending emails out of Bubble?
I think right now I would go with Postmark. That's the one that seems to have the best reputation.
So is that a plugin or?
No, so Postmark is a third-party service, and then depending on how recently you restarted with Canvas, like if you're on a later version of Canvas, it might actually be built in, because, like, this is a Canvas app, but it's relatively new. I just started it this month, and it's not even on the latest Canvas, but Canvas email for Canvas, and then we have here where you can, like, do Postmark instead of SendGrid.
Oh yeah, I've got that email.
Yep.
Okay,
and but if you don't have this, you can integrate Postmark into your app, and I could probably probably connect you with Juan to do that.
I already got that
Juan.
in here in mine.
Oh, you do? You have the Postmark
I
stuff?
already got the
Yeah, so then
API
it's
key
already.
set up too, so
Oh, cool. Then yeah, so Postmark is I'm starting to recommend Postmark instead of SendGrid. I'm having a lot of issues with SendGrid, and I think
Aye.
that's pretty common across the board. If you search the forum for SendGrid, all you see is people tearing their hair out. So.
oh yeah. So
What are the
Oh,
differences?
so SendGrid is more expensive to get. Well, the biggest problem with SendGrid is that the emails tend not to hit the email inbox because they get sent to spam or they just don't get delivered. The reason that's happening is because on the free plan and on their lower plans, you're sharing an IP address with other senders who could be spamming their list and getting the IP address blocked. Right. So if you want your own dedicated IP address with SendGrid, you actually have to pay, I think it's like 90 USD per month, which is kind of expensive compared to, I think it's like between $10 and $20 with Postmark. And then Postmark has a much better reputation with users right now. So that's the main difference in terms of like why you would choose one over the other. They're both perfectly capable of doing what you needed to do, except it doesn't matter if SendGrid is doing its job if the user doesn't get their email.
Definitely. And sorry for butting in. I'm just curious.
No worries.
Is this a plugin or is this an API connection?
No, so Postmark is its own independent thing. So like SendGrid is its own thing entirely, and Postmark is also its own third party. And then Postmark, yeah, fast, reliable email.
Does it send it from your actual email, like Jordan at Total Mortgages, or?
Yes, yeah. Everything that you could do with SendGrid in terms of sending from your own email address and all of that, you can do with Postmark as well. Postmark is really see their proposition: get great deliverability without upgrading to a dedicated IP. That's why their pricing is lower. The other thing Postmark is known for is transactional emails as opposed to marketing emails. You can do either with SendGrid, but that's probably why they get into a lot of trouble, is because all of the laws and regulations that govern email, like your CAN spam and GDPR and all of that stuff. Well, GDPR is a different story entirely, but like CAN spam has to do with marketing emails, right? But the emails that are being sent from your Bubble app.
When you say transactional emails, what do you mean by that? Just like one-off ones?
Yeah, it has to do with their interaction with your app. So it's almost like account notifications or something. It's not marketing. It's communication. And
what if I physically want to send someone an email like a CRM, like, hey Tonya, how are you? But I want to send it out of Bubble. Is that Postmark or?
Yeah, hey Tonya, how are you is fine from Postmark. It's when you're sending the same email to a bunch of people and you're trying to get them to come back and buy something, that's considered like marketing. I'm not a lawyer, by the way, and I know we have an international audience and I'm perfectly aware of that. But like the transactional emails I'm talking about is, hey, you have an unread message in your app. You should log in and check it out. That's a transactional email because you're informing them of something that they've signed up to know, like, and interact with your app, versus, hey, so it's a shameless plug here. Hey, we're rebranding CoCreative NoCode, and you can upgrade your account now before we do it, and you get grandfathered into the lower rate. Like that would be a promotional email as opposed to transactional, because you're not, it had nothing to do with you interacting with the app or asking us for something or to do something or giving us permissions. It's just purely like, I'm asking you to come back and buy something from me. So there's Postmark is better at transactional stuff and is meant for transactional stuff more so than SendGrid. SendGrid powers a lot of the CRMs that do automated email marketing, and that's why they get into a lot of trouble, I think. So That's what I know.
That's great to know. And if you ever do, like, if you want to do marketing email, would you use SendGrid?
So if I wanted to do marketing email, I probably wouldn't try to build it out in Bubble. I'd probably link Bubble to a marketing email platform, like an email marketing automation,
Like ActiveCampaign.
marketing. Yeah, like ActiveCampaign or ActiveCampaign I would probably prefer over any of the others. I've used, let's see, Aweber, Infusionsoft, what's the MailChimp. I've used all of those in ActiveCampaign's my favorite by far. So
Got it. Thank you.
yeah, of course.
So how would you send an email as part of a workflow through Postgrid?
With Postmark?
Yeah.
Since you already have that capability built into Canvas, I just make sure these are working. And then I don't know if it's from your admin portal that you would have to set it up or what. Let's go check it out. Do you have the email templates working in general in your Canvas app, Jordan?
Yeah, I've been using the BDK one, but like I've just noticed like the emails aren't coming through like formatted that nicely to the end user.
Yeah, so that's why Canvas has its own email system. I'm going to stop sharing so it'll load faster.
There?
Yep, I'm here.
Lost it.
Nope, I'm just stuck in the same like loading problem that you were, and I'm afraid to like click refresh because it's almost inevitably when I do that, it loads the page real fast and then it starts refreshing all over again. Like, come on. And the funniest thing about my issues that I've been having with my internet is like the screen that I'm trying to share that won't load the page or whatever. It's not even Wi-Fi. It's like wired in. Okay, here we go. So enable outgoing email, connect your application here. So you should be able to check Postmark instead. And then you have to add your Postmark keys, and then you'll add which email address that you end up verifying with Postmark, and then they'll verify it with an API call. And then once you have that set up, then when you're using the email section, yeah, see, it says you have to enable your stuff here. Then you can start using this section to keep track of and modify and set up your email templates. And these are HTML-based email templates. So what you can do is then go into your backend workflows, and this workflow should already be there for you. And once you select which provider you want to use, then we just need to copy this template and make the changes per template that you want. And then you can use that API workflow so like, let's say you wanted to set up a specific email to go out to a user like 10 days after they sign up. You can copy and paste here, rename it. So send email 10 days. right? And then you would come in here and search for apps. It's like saying search for app setting. I think that should be, oh, this is just so you can call it. So this step here, it's interesting what Canvas has done here. This one, when you make changes to something like this, but you don't actually change anything, the only reason for doing that is because you're going to refer to it in a later step, because it'll be results of step 1 will be this particular thing in the database that it's finding, right? And then the same thing here. This is going to search for an email template. In this case, it's looking for, we would make an email template and
So that's kind of what I'm trying to do, like with my idea.
Yep, exactly. It's a little tricky because you do have to do one thing, what we call CRUD, which is like making actual changes from your backend. So it's not as user friendly as Canvas would like, but let's call this 10 days check-in. And then template folder can be general. Things include a button. Let's edit the merge terms. Let's see. I don't know. We'll leave them alone. I think it already has first name, but we'll add it just in case. First name.
What's email content in the next tab?
Yep. So this is your subject and your body and what you want the button to say, and if you want a signature. So checking in. And then first name is your 10-day check-in, and the button we would say log back in or something like that, and then from the October sandbox team. Okay, so now I have this 10-day check-in and it's on. So I'd have to go back into my app data, into my email. It'll probably be in here, email templates. So it's not Canvas default, that's true. This is description. This is email enabled. So I'm going to come in here and what I want to grab. So yeah, the ID name can't start with a number. So it'll be, I'll probably call it 10 days check-in. I'm going to copy this. And list of mail merge terms. Save. All right, so we'll save this. I think first name is a default one. So now I have that email ID set up. So I come in here because this is what I'm doing here is I'm pasting that email ID in here. And so it's going to grab that first item and then it'll send it in here. So email provider should actually be postmark because I changed it. Either it's a postmark. Right. And then this will go to the recipient's email. The from email is all set up already when you set up everything from the admin portal. And then your subject, it's going to look for the subject in that template that we found here. The body, it's going to find the body here. Dynamic image, include the button. What's the button? So you can upload an image here, I think, where do we determine where the button goes here? So the button link here, you would change this to whatever you want the link to be. And you can do that dynamically. So you can send them to like a specific thing. Like if you have a page that's set to some like a template, you can send them to that specific template. First name is recipients first, so that's okay. Yeah, so that's how you do that. And then you can set up like maybe when they sign up. Sign up. So here, like after all of this, you can go ahead and trigger your API workflow to send that email. Not 10-minute workflow. We want to send email 10 days. Scheduled date would be current date and time plus 10 days. And recipient would be current user. And that's it. So now every time somebody signs up here, 10 days later, they'll get that email. And it will go through Postmark, assuming I do the rest of the work in here to add Postmark API keys.
Click away. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, I got to shoot off.
All right. Good.
Thanks.
Yeah, good talking. Have a great day.
You guys.
Bye. What was that, Adam?
So I do just want to ask that when you use Canvas email, it's only connected to Postmark. It's not like you can mess up and use a different service, right?
Right. So you can use one of two services with Canvas. You can use Postmark or you can use SendGrid.
Okay.
So that was in this part in the backend workflows. Where's the 10 here? When I send basic email at the top, email provider, I had to say Postmark.
Okay, got it.
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you familiar with Canvas at all?
I know their UI elements, but I'm not too familiar with like their email elements yet.
Got it. Yeah, so I don't think their email elements are available ad hoc. I think you would have to be using the Canvas template to get that functionality. But
oh, so you mean like if I've already built an app, I won't be able to get this functionality?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
Yep, but you can get the we could deconstruct what Canvas has done and help you build it yourself. So
okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Awesome. Well, if there's anything else, we can tackle it, or we can go ahead and wrap up office hours. Everybody good?
I'm good.
Okay,
Good.
awesome. Well, our next office hours, I won't actually be at the next office hours. Our next office hours are not far away from now. It's like 2 a.m. my time. So what's that, 7 hours from now? If you want to join Pablo for another episode of CoCreative NoCode's office hours, he will start broadcasting in about 7 hours from now. And then I'll be back with the rest of the group tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So we have rapid transition from office hours Thursday to Friday. If you would like to join us for a complimentary session and see what office hours is all about, and if we can help you answer your bubble questions, go ahead and email us at team@CoCreativeNoCode.com, and Kim and I will make sure to get you some credentials and get you logged in so you can ask your questions. Thank you so much, Thomas and Adam, for being here, and also for Ben and Jordan for being here. And thank you as always to Kim, and I'll see you tomorrow.